Just because you don't get your way, you can't come to the well, bring your friends, and throw a temper tantrum with an adolescent bullhorn. But certainly don't start by commandeering the well while we're conducting business here in this Tennessee General Assembly. That's why you're standing there, because of that temper tantrum that day, for that yearning to have attention. That's what you wanted. But you're getting it now.
How many of you want to be spoken to that way? We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about even gun violence. How many of you would want to be spoken to that way? The reason that I believe the sponsor of this legislation, of this resolution, spoke that way is because he's comfortable doing it. Because there's a decorum that allows it.
There it is. Bring the mayor up right now. We're going to jump into this, Mayor. I had a lot more to say, but let's go ahead and have this conversation. That Representative Farmer talked to those two grown-ass black men like they were children. And what Representative Justin Pearson laid out is that the reason why you're doing is because you're comfortable with it. This is part of the decorum. Now let's go back to Representative Farmer when he said that you just because you don't get your way, you don't have a right to have a temper tantrum. Let me get this straight. 3 babies gunned down dead. 3 adults gunned down dead, and you want to talk about decorum? There is no more decorum when you have elected officials standing up there showing the requisite emotion, which the Tennessee 3 did. F your decorum. And that is what was necessary in that Tennessee legislature. But see, they knew that they had the votes, Mayor, to expel those men. And he had the pure unadulterated gall to stand up there and chastise those members like they were damn children. The gall. You know, my grandmother would say more nerd than a brass ass monkey.
Yeah, I think your grandmother will be spot on. I think what's disgusting to me is I'm a black man from the South, and the only thing I didn't hear in that statement from Farmer was boy.
Hey,
boy,
say that.
I think he might have mumbled it because in his mind, his statement was definitely on par with that thinking, that line of thinking. Where
or Mayor, and I'm sorry to mess up your train of thought. Hope you don't lose it. He might as well just go ahead and call them point blank, because every action they took. And I hate that word, but that's what bubbled up in my mind.
Absolutely, he said
and we gonna whoop you in public. We gonna let y'all know who really in control. Y'all might have got elected here. You may think you have some power, but you ain't got no power. We gonna show you who has the ultimate power. Go ahead, man. I just had to.
No, I mean it's absolutely right. And speaking of whipping, I mean keep in mind there's a representative somewhere in that chamber that last month you and I sat on the same show and talked about that's okay with hanging,
yes,
lynching.
Yes,
he ain't expelled. The idea that you can lynch people in Tennessee. What really happens is a white woman has the right to challenge her white brothers and sisters and white folk and the status quo whiteness. Black folk don't. And when you get out of line, when you get uppity, this is what happens. This is why that white woman is still in the Tennessee legislature, especially when you couple the fact that what you're doing is you have black people speaking louder about the death of white kids.
Come on.
Mass shootings of white kids.
That part.
Because this ain't the first. We can't silo this mass shooting. It happened in Tennessee from the one that happened at a church in Tennessee, or the other 121 that have taken place in this country this year alone. So I'm telling people what happens is when black people remind white people how savage whiteness is, how savage standing up for the gun lobby over children is. This is what happens.
Exactly what happens. But this is in Tennessee's DNA. So, Representative Pearson got it right. You standing up there doing that because there is an atmosphere that allows it. If they even thought there would be some consequences and repercussions, they would have thought twice. Lord have mercy. Let's go on to the next clip, y'all. We got some more to play. Let's do it.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, is we are upholding our Constitution. We are protecting the integrity of this body. Let's vote to expel him. That will send the case back to the voters in Davidson County. And if after looking at his conduct, they find he should come back, we will welcome him as a representative.
My colleague's statement was eloquent. What he was essentially saying was that Justin is an uppity Negro. How dare he point at the speaker and call a lie a lie? How dare he act like he's your equal? How dare he come before this body and not bow down? That's what Representative Bulso was saying, and that's what he told me on the elevator 2 days ago when he tried to incite violence against me and got in my face and said, "You are a damn disgrace." And I said, "Representative Bulso, hold on, let me pull up my phone. Can you say that again?" And he cowered and chose not to repeat it because he did not want the world to see what a disgrace he is for Williamson County voters.
That's it right there. That's it. Thank you, team, because y'all know I was gonna say put the mayor. Mayor, that's it. I mean, Representative Jones encapsulated this whole deal, and it's a reminder of what Ida B. Wells, when her friends got killed because they got a little too uppity, and she exposed lynching in these United States of America, all over this country, but particularly in the South. This reminds me of this moment right here. Black folks, we will accept you as long as you march the way we march to the beat we say march to. But as soon as you get out of pocket, we have various ways in this country to remind you who is absolutely in control. So whether we're talking about these two representatives, or we're talking about Colin Kaepernick, or we're talking about Kyrie, hello somebody, we can name all kinds of names. This is what America does on a regular basis. And when people don't understand why black people are mad as hell and constantly, as James Baldwin once said, to be black in America is to be in a constant rage, to be conscious, he said. Let me put that, because we got a lot of black sisters and brothers who are not conscious. And I'm not saying, Mayor, they gotta agree with everything you and I are saying, but they not conscious. Anybody that would fix their mouths to say this is a different country and things are not the same, something is wrong with them. Fixing their mouths to say that this country wasn't founded on racism and bigotry and anti-blackness, something is wrong with them. But hey, James Baldwin got it right. To be consciously black in America is to be in a damn rage all the time.
And when we're not enraged, we're pacifying or we're acting sleep, just as Ron DeSantis would have us. And I think this is absolutely disgusting that we see what these representatives are willing to do. They know that these brothers will be sent back to the General Assembly, but they're willing to waste taxpayer money so that they can fundraise, so they can go back to their white brothers and sisters. I'm glad you brought up Ida B. Wells, because it happened in one of these districts. That those killings of her friends was in Memphis.
That's
one of
right.
these gentlemen represents that district.
That's
But it's
exactly right.
Talk about full circle with racism. Talk about what kind of change, when the only time change is where the position of the wheel is. It's still America, it's still a circle, and it's all white.
Come on, that right there. I mean, Tennessee has a lot of blood on its hands. And you brought up fundraising, so team, let's go ahead and put this up and lead the mayor up. Put us up all three of us in the damn box. Just go ahead and do it. Nashville, Tennessee House Republicans that decided to uphold the rule of law. You know what? They always want to talk about the rule of law when it comes to black folks. That's when the rule of law is really in play. But suffice it to say, we ain't got to read this whole thing. Basically, to break it down, they fundraising off of this. That's just how shameless they are, Mayor. They got no shame and no fear of repercussions and consequences.
Yeah, I think the fact that they have a base that you cannot not know that they're lying. You're not a law and order when you're killing cops at the Capitol. You're not law and order when you're against the FBI. You're not law and order when you take a trip to New York when Trump's been arraigned to protest the justice system there. You're not law and order. You're white for whiteness, and that's all it is. And you're still funding it. You're funding it because of the same things that made the KKK a party then makes the GOP a party now.
That's it. The only thing is, back then it was the Democrats. They were the KKK, and they were, okay, so what party really does black people truly have? And then by extension, poor working class people of all backgrounds. This is the revelation here, because we have not had true truth and reconciliation in this country. We are gonna be constantly reminded that this right here is real.